Today, I want to walk through how to get to 10K per month starting your own lead arbitrage system. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lawrence and I've built and scaled 2 businesses to 7 figures, and one of them is a lead arbitrage system. So that is why you should listen to me, because I have been there, I have done it, I am still doing it, and I have helped others do it as well. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 2 main things. First is, what is a lead arbitrage system? I'm going to walk through exactly what it is and why I think it is the most underused, not spoken about enough business model, probably the easiest way to start making 10K per month in 2024 and beyond. So I'm going to explain exactly what all of that is, and then I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what not only I have done myself, and I'm also going to walk you through what others have done, people that I have taught and shared everything I know with, and how they've been able to get to 10K and beyond as well. And I'm going to share everything with you in this video. And if you watch until the end, you will have a map and a blueprint and a step-by-step guide of exactly how you can take yourself from not even knowing what a lead arbitrage system is all the way to making 10K per month and beyond, and do so in a pretty quick time frame as well. Before we begin, what I want to do is ask you a quick question. What do Uber, Airbnb, Expedia, DoorDash, Lyft, Visa, what do they all have in common? Let's look at Airbnb, for example. They are probably the biggest rental property company in the world. They don't own any property. Uber, the exact same thing. They don't own any taxis. Visa don't own any banks. DoorDash don't own any restaurants. All of these companies are making loads and loads of money by being the middleman. And that's kind of exactly what a lead arbitrage system is. Because for so long now, being a middleman has been reserved for those that can create amazing softwares like Airbnb. Really, it's a software company. It's a company that introduces a home owner with somebody traveling, and Airbnb just kind of like facilitates that relationship. And usually it's, as I say, reserved for people that are great at creating software, like DoorDash, like Uber. And until now, it's a game that we haven't really been able to play. But now we can play it, and it's something that is accessible to pretty much everybody. Doesn't really require any previous knowledge, previous skills, previous experience. You don't need any tech skills. It's a really simple business model. And we want to basically act as that middleman, like the likes of Airbnb, Uber, DoorDash, and all those other massive companies do, and take advantage of it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to walk you through exactly what one is and how we can take advantage of this lead arbitrage system. Basically, in its most simplistic form, we have a business owner here. And what we do is we deliver leads for a business owner. So we sell a lead. I'll just use arbitrary numbers and it will kind of, just for ease of maths. Let's say we generate a lead for a business owner and we sell it to them for $100. Now, here's where the problem lies, or has been a problem for so long, is you don't necessarily have the skills to generate leads for businesses. It's not necessarily a super easy skill to develop. Otherwise, everybody would have all the leads that they want and need. And I can tell you from 7 years of business experience, business owners, more than anything, want leads. If it was really easy to find leads, then business owners wouldn't want leads because they'd be able to get them. Hope that makes sense. So generating leads has been, it's something that everybody wants. Not everybody can actually do it, which is why things like marketing agencies exist. Let's say, for example, a business owner is willing to pay $100 per lead. Well, what the lead arbitrage system is basically us buying a lead from somebody else for $50. And so we give that we give that lead, to the business owner, charge them $100 for it, pay $50 to somebody else, and we profit $50. That is a lead arbitrage system. We are buying it for less money, selling it for more money. And we're the middleman in that relationship. That is a lead arbitrage system. And there's lots of things that go into making this system happen and work and function, just like there are with many systems. And I'll go in and I'll explain exactly what they are. And then I will walk you through what you need to do to be able to plug into this system. So as I say, you can start making 10K per month or more. And just so you're aware, this exact system right here is how I'm making more than $100,000 every single month. Let's break each individual element down. So there's a few things at play here. We have a business owner. We have a lead. We have how much we charge. We have how much we pay, and then we have our profit. We've already kind of talked about the business owner a little bit, but let's just go into a little bit more detail. So business owners, obviously, businesses exist to generate profit. They generate profit through customers. They generate customers through leads. So leads is really like the first thing that business owners want and need. They need leads to be able to turn them into customers, to be able to turn them into money and turn money into profit. And we want to step in and provide businesses with those leads. Now, we can call them leads. We could call them calls. So sometimes for certain clients, we might generate them a lead, which is like a name, an email address, a telephone number for them to go and contact, or we will generate them calls. The prospect is booked into the business owner's online calendar, and it's like a Zoom call that they're about to take in order to pitch them on their services. But it's basically an opportunity for the business owner to make a sale. So what we're really selling is opportunities. And excuse my writing. So we're selling opportunities. And the bigger the opportunity, the more money that we can make, because the bigger the opportunity, the more valuable it is to the business owner. Therefore, we can charge the business owner more. So for example, if we're generating a business, a lead, and each customer is worth $1,000, we'll be able to only charge a business owner X per lead. But if they're worth $10,000 to the business, if the customer's worth $10,000, then we might theoretically be able to charge 10 times more for that lead. So the bigger the opportunity for the business owner, the more money that we can make. Now, you could argue, well, this is just kind of like a marketing agency. And it is to some degree, but there's some really key principles that make this different and make it a much better business model. The main one is that the business owner, they do something called pay per lead. The beauty of paying per lead is that the business owner has no real risk working with you. So it's very easy for us to come in and grab these businesses in the first place. We can't get the businesses in the first place. Obviously, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if we can buy leads for really cheap and sell them really expensive. If we've got nobody to sell them to, then the whole thing falls foul. So we want to make sure that we can actually find businesses that want more leads really, really easily. And the way that we do this is on a pay per lead basis. Typical marketing agency might charge $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, however much it is, dollars per month in a flat monthly retainer. High risk for the business owner. They're not sure what they're getting for their money. With this model, with us, the business owner is very happy to work with us because they are paying per lead. So it makes signing clients really easy. Now, there are a few things that go into this. Paying per lead can be really easy to sell to a client, or it can be really, really difficult. And the way that it is either easy or difficult all boils down to something called second order costs. So let me explain what these second order costs are. And bear with me here, because this is really, really important. And it's something that is going to either make signing businesses that want more leads super easy or super difficult. And we want to make sure, obviously, that it is super easy. And if you get this part right, trust me, it's really easy and really straightforward to grow your own lead arbitrage system. So second order costs, what are they? Well, let's say, for example, best way to explain it is with an example. Let's say that you sign a client and they say, right, pay per lead sounds amazing. Where do we go from here? And you say, okay, well, they say, how do you generate the leads? And you say, well, we use Facebook ads and we use Google ads. And they say, okay, cool. And the ad spend, who pays for the ad spend? Well, of course you do, Mr. Business Owner. And they say, okay, well, how much money do I need to spend? And you say, well, we'd recommend a budget of like, I don't know, $3,000 or more each month. So $3,000 plus per month. And the business owner says, it sounded risk-free when you started talking about pay per lead. But now, because the advertising spend is $3,000, it's not quite so risk-free. And the $3,000 ad spend is an example of a second order cost. It's not necessarily the cost that the business owner has to pay to work with you, but it's the cost associated with working with you. And it makes it much more risky from the business owner's perspective to work with you if there are high second order costs, which is why what we do is we do low cost cold email campaigns. Low to no cost cold email campaigns. When we start working with clients, when they ask us like, what sort of costs are involved, we say you simply pay us per lead. And there's like very, very low costs associated with running cold email campaigns. That's how we're going to generate all your leads for you, through cold emails. it makes the risk from the business owner's perspective pretty much zero. And if it's not zero, it's as close to being zero as possible. And 99 times out of 100, business owners are happy with that kind of risk to reward ratio. And if the business owner isn't, generally that's because the business owner isn't really big enough to be able to afford to pay for these things. And when I say they're not big enough, they're basically just starting out and can't really afford it. And they're probably not the sort of clients that we would want to work with in the first place. Here's where things get really cool is this is the service that we're offering, right? Is we're saying to them, we're going to do cold emails for you. Now, also the way that we generate these business owners, the way that we actually have, we sign these business owners here is through cold email as well. So the way that they hear about us is through emails. And so that when we're having conversations about bringing them on as a client on a pay per lead model, we can say to them, you know how like we sent you a cold email and it piqued your interest and now we're having this conversation. Well, we're going to do the exact same thing for you. We're going to send cold emails on your behalf so that you can do what I'm doing right now, which is having a conversation with my ideal prospect. And so we can show them that it works just by having a conversation. And so we don't need all of these case studies, all of these testimonials, all of this proof, because the prospect that you're speaking to is a real life, living, breathing, walking proof that what you do works because you're having a conversation with them. So it makes signing clients, especially when you don't have any previous results, really easy. You don't need to prove anything because you've already proven that it works by speaking with them in the first place. A really clever little trick that is not afforded by most new business models and online money making methods. But the lead arbitrage system, that is just one of the ways that I think, one of the reasons that I think it is probably the most effective way to start earning money online. So that's the business owner. Now, a lead, we kind of talked about a lead a little bit. This is basically contact information. This can either be like name, email address, phone number, physical address, like postal address, or it can be like a booked call, like a call in a calendar. Generally, what you'll find is that if somebody's just providing you with an email address and a name, for example, their commitment to working with said business owner is lower than if somebody booked in a call to have a serious 45-minute conversation with them. So therefore you can charge a little bit more if you're generating booked calls versus simply generating a lead. And obviously the more money that you charge, the more money that you can make as well. But there's like a trade-off between these two, that leads are easier to generate than calls, but calls are worth more money. So it doesn't really matter what route that you go down, and you can change it from client to client depending on what they want the most. So you're not really rigid when you go in and you start speaking to one of these business owners. You can ask them what they want and you can tailor your service slightly to that individual business owner, which again makes it so easy to sign businesses. So $100, we talk about like us charging businesses for a lead or a booked call, for example. Now, this is going to change from business to business, depending on whether you find them leads or booked calls. You might also find that certain business owners want to only target a very small percentage of leads out there, and therefore you might want to charge them a lot more money because finding these leads is a lot harder to do. So you want to make sure that you get paid more per lead than you ordinarily would. Now, that is pretty self-explanatory. Now, the next step is to partner up with somebody to generate this lead for you, or these leads for you. Now, because each business owner is going to have their individual requirements, there isn't some sort of store that you can go on and just buy these leads, because if there was, then the business owner would do it themselves. We are getting paid because we are providing value, but we don't need to necessarily be the one that provides the value. We can just provide value by our contacts, because your net worth is often your net work and vice versa. What we want to do is work with people that have the skills to generate the leads for these business owners. So what you want to do is basically find people that are willing to work on a pay per lead basis, that have the skills. They basically need to have the skills, because remember, here's where things can fall down, right? I want to tell you all the good things about this business model, and I want to tell you some of the pitfalls to look out for as well. And just because there are pitfalls doesn't mean that it's not a good business model. It's still a great business model. And I'm actually going to explain to you as well how you can avoid these pitfalls and make sure that they just don't even exist. So one of the pitfalls is that you can't find somebody to generate the leads on your behalf. And if you do find somebody, it's that they're not actually good enough to generate the leads. And if they can't generate the leads, then you can't charge your client and you can't make any money and nobody wins. So how do we go about this? Well, what we do with all of our students is we actually pair them up with a certified lead generation expert. And we have taught all of these people how to deliver leads, how to basically find leads for business owners. And then they want to partner up with people like yourself that want to start making more money online, and they will deliver and find the leads for you, and you pay them a percentage of what you charge your clients or the businesses. Now, if you don't want to do that, then you can go on things like Upwork and find people. You can go on things like Fiverr and find people that can do that skill for you. And then the rest is pretty simple. We set up these pretty simple systems that when a business owner when we generate a lead for a business, then we charge the business for that lead, we pay the lead generator for that lead, and we keep whatever is left. So generally it's kind of, here it's like 50%. Sometimes, depending on different circumstances, we might pay them 40%. We might even pay them 30%, so we can keep 70%. It depends on the lead generator, what they want, what makes financial sense for you as well. So that can really vary as well. So hopefully now you've got a bit of a better understanding of what a lead arbitrage system actually is and how the system itself makes money. Now, what I want to do next, as promised, is walk you through how you can make money and how you can start your own lead arbitrage system. So let's draw a line under all of that and look at what we need to do. So the first thing that we go back up here, is the businesses. So we're going to need to target some form of niche, and we're going to want to send this niche emails. So if we look at the niche, we want to basically go after a particular type of niche or industry. The reason being is that we can use the language in our messaging in our emails here. So we want to use industry specific language. So I'll just write industry specific, and we can talk about their problems. We can talk about their concerns. We can use actual lingo that industry uses, and it just resonates with that particular business owner a lot more, grabs their attention a lot easier, and makes it pretty easy for us to get in front of them. And we're going to be sending them a message. So this is like my message that I'm sending to a business owner. And what this is it's a pay per lead / no risk, because all of these businesses, they want to grow. They want to work with people like you that can actually help them grow, but they just don't necessarily want to risk things. And if you're starting out in business and you haven't got any previous experience, any previous knowledge, any case studies, any testimonials, things like that, when a business works with you, at that moment, you are a risk to that business. And so they're happy to work with you if you're not a risk. And by doing a pay per lead model, and when we mentioned about second order costs, and you have very low to no second order costs, you then become very risk free, and you become a scenario where there's zero downside and a whole load of upside. So the question kind of becomes like, why wouldn't I work with you? And one of our recent students actually sent out 400 cold emails. And if you know anything about cold emails, it's very easy to do. It's just kind of like automated. You just upload a load of leads to a system. Very simple and straightforward to do. But if you know anything about that, 400 cold emails is not very many at all. And from 400 cold emails, they were able to sign 4 clients. And that happened 2 weeks ago now. And the reason being is because you position it in the right way where there is zero downside for the business owner, or very, very little risk. So it's basically risk-free, not 100% risk-free, because the business owner has to pay for a little bit of software. And the reason that we get the business owner to pay for the software as opposed to maybe you paying for the software is because we want the business owner to have some level of investment in this relationship. We want them to care. care. We want them to be, responding to our messages in a timely manner. We want them to be invested in the success of this. And that happens when they spend some money, but they don't spend it. They don't give you that money. They give it to the software so that the cold email systems can actually work and operate. So once we do that, we sign a client, we work with a business owner. That's the business owner. They're happy. And what we do is we agree to basically charge them money for each lead. We find a lead generator and we pay that lead generator a little bit of money, leaves us with the difference. And then we basically charge the business owner the money. And what's really cool about this business model is that the more money that your client pays you, the happier that they are. And that's really strange. When I used to run a marketing agency before, I used to charge my clients money, and I was constantly having to explain to them what they're paying for. Nobody obviously wanted to spend money if they didn't have to. And I was constantly explaining what we were doing, why we were charging them that amount of money, and just really having to explain myself all the time. And it's annoying, it's boring, it's frustrating, and you can't charge your clients as much as you are maybe worth because they don't want to pay for it. But when a client is paying for a result specifically, they're happy to spend loads of money because the more money that they spend, the more value that they're getting, the more their business grows. So that's how you do it. There's kind of so much that goes into, well, we'll just recap this, but there's so much that goes into it, but we want to make sure that we're targeting a particular type of business. And the reason that we do that is so that we can use kind of industry specific language. We want to reach out to businesses through cold email. And there's some videos on my channel about how to actually send out cold email. But the messaging that we want to do is talk about pay per lead and no risk. We reach out to a client and we agree that we're going to charge them X per month. So X per lead. We might say like $200 per lead. And then we will find somebody on Upwork, on Fiverr, or if you're part of the community and part of the program, then you can use our experts and they will generate leads for you. You then, each time a lead is generated, you then charge your client this amount, you pay your lead generator this amount, and you pocket the difference. And you basically do this as long as you possibly can for every single business that you work with. The great thing is that business owners don't really leave you because they're only paying for the value that you're providing. If you don't generate them results in a month, for example, fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but it does from time to time. That's just life. If that does happen, the business owner isn't necessarily upset because they're not paying you anything. They're only paying for the results that you generate them. Businesses stick around for a long time. What we want to do is we want to aim for every single business to give you a minimum of $1,000 per month in profit. So a minimum of $1,000 a month in profit. So that's after you've paid your lead generator. And then let's say that you reach out to businesses and you sign one business a week. So you sign 4 in a month. So you're going to get 4K. And then the following month, you're going to get another 4 in a month. And it just stacks on top. So you're going to get 4K in month 2 from your new clients, plus the 4K from your first kind of batch of clients, because you're still generating them leads. And it's very easy to get to a point where you're generating $10,000 a month or more, or like myself, $100,000 every single month. And the beauty of it is that we're not doing the work ourselves. And this means that we're actually running a business as opposed to just having a well-paid job where we're tied to our desk all the time. I work about an hour a day on my lead arbitrage system because I have everything set up. I have the lead generators generating the leads. I have systems set up to charge my clients. I have systems set up to communicate with clients, and it's all very automated and systemized. And I spend about an hour a day on my lead arbitrage system. And this is exactly how I believe it is the most effective way for anybody wanting to start making money online to do so through a lead arbitrage system. It is the most effective way, in my opinion. And if you want to find out a little bit more about the lead arbitrage system, how it works, what's involved, click the link in the description. I will explain exactly how everything works. So thanks for watching. If you've got value from this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.